cold showers are something I did not think I would ever do again, because I tried them once. They suck. They absolutely suck. But maybe I've been brainwashed, because I decided to try it again. So I'm actually filming this intro a second time. I did an initial intro when I started this challenge, but I was so just like haggard looking. It was early in the morning, I was tired, I was dreading it, and I don't feel like I explained what I was doing very well. So we're starting over. Hello, I'm Savalian. I typically make videos about games development and creativity. I'm making this video because if you've been around for a little bit, you'll know I've been having a hard time motivating myself to work on my game. I've been having a hard time, convincing myself to do something that I enjoy doing, which is not good. It's not a good thing to feel like that. Basically what happened is I fell just headfirst down this rabbit hole of Andrew Huberman. And if you've heard of Andrew Huberman, you've probably heard a lot about him, because he seems to infect people with his ideas. He is a, I think he's a neuroscientist and an ophthalmologist. He's a scientist. He works at Stanford. I think he works at Stanford. I'll put his credentials somewhere. He does know what he's talking about. His information is highly researched. So I feel like the information he's sharing is probably pretty solid in most cases. Nothing's perfect, but he's not just another productivity bro on the internet, but he has kind of those vibes, The productivity bros on the internet love him. So there's kind of this like swirling mass of opinions about Andrew Huberman, and I was kind of like put off by it, but I found my way in somehow to actually listening to one of his podcasts about dopamine. And the gears in my brain started turning, because the way that I've been feeling, I'm not a doctor, none of this is medical advice, by the way, but some of the ways I've been feeling sound like they may be due to dopamine being out of whack, not feeling like I want to do things that I like doing. Dopamine is the thing that makes you want to do something. And there's all these things that can happen when dopamine is spiked relative to the baseline of your dopamine. And I'm not going to get into much more of what I understand of the science, because I listen to like one podcast and watch a couple YouTube videos. I'm not an expert, but the way that I understand it is that you want to avoid spikes, and you want to, if you can, increase the baseline. And apparently cold showers are an easy and effective way to do this. Now, when I first learned about cold showers, 2 years ago, when everyone was doing it, maybe longer, and I don't know that any of the viral videos about, taking cold showers for 30 days or whatever, I don't know that any of them really touched on the fact that the recommended way to do cold exposure like this is not to simply replace your normal shower with a cold shower, which is what I thought, what I was led to believe, but instead the cold exposure is its own event, and then you do your normal daily stuff separately from that. So the idea that first that the cold shower could be in addition to a hot shower, and then also learning that the recommended amount of cold exposure is apparently 11 minutes a week, which is not very much at all. I was thinking here I would have to take a full shower that's cold, and that's not really what's recommended. So knowing that, and knowing that it may help me actually do my work, it may help me do the harder projects that I want to do, that I'm excited to do but can't seem to get myself over that line, it made me want to try cold showers. So the goal here is to do the cold showers for 1 full week every morning, 7 days, and just see how my everyday work changes. And another thing I'm doing in addition to the cold showers that I feel like is connected through this dopamine target is I'm not going to do social media, including things like Discord, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, none of that before noon or before I have my lunch break. And there's 2 reasons why I'm doing this And the first one is one of the examples he gave was about a person who had a sort of video game addiction, and then they stopped playing video games for a month to sort of replenish their dopamine. So I'm hoping that by refraining from some of these like dopamine spiking activities in the morning, I'll be able to sort of even out those levels. I don't know if that's how it works, but that's how I'm gonna attempt it. And then the second reason was that he also recommended not stacking like sort of fun dopamine activities on top of work-based dopamine activities. So the example he used for that was don't like exercise and listen to music, or don't do it every single time. All of the information around dopamine seems to be based on this. It's all relative. So the total amounts, or like the exact amounts of dopamine in your system, is not as important as how activities feel relative to each other. So that's the gist of the experiment. Cold showers in the morning for roughly 2 minutes per day, and then not using social media or listening to music or really doing anything that I think is going to impact dopamine before noon. So hopefully the dopamine that I get is coming from my work, which I think is how this all works. Again, I'm not sure. I just listened to one podcast, so we're gonna see. And another note, I know a lot of YouTubers will do wear the swimsuit, get in the shower on video. I don't have a swimsuit, so I'm not gonna do that. You're just gonna have to trust me. I'll promise you now, if I chicken out, which I know I didn't because I'm filming this at the end of the experiment, I would just tell you. I'll just tell you that I didn't do it, or I won't make the video, you know? Either way, I'm not in a place where I'm gonna film myself in the shower, so here we go. Okay, first cold shower done, giving my immediate thoughts. First, just the sort of the process is that I first warmed the shower to warm so I could feel that it was warm, and then I lowered it until it felt cold. And the reason I did this was because it's been extremely cold outside, and I figured just blasting, straight, completely unheated water would be not a good idea. And then, this was interesting. So I used my wrist, the back of my hand to test the temperature, and not my palms, because I know things can feel different to your hands than they do to other parts of your body. And it didn't feel that cold. So I lowered the shower basically all the way to nothing, and it still felt to my wrist kind of like roomish temperature. And then when I got in, it was cold. It wasn't freezing. It didn't feel unsafe, but I definitely had that moment where I was like, like I gasped, and it was not fun, but it wasn't unbearable. And then, to make things worse, I got like a telemarketer call during the 2-minute timer that I set for my cold shower. So I heard my phone going off and I thought I was done. And then I saw it was a call, and I still had 40 seconds left. It's a lot longer than you think it's going to be, 2 minutes, but I did it. I'm not as freezing as I thought I would be. I have the blanket ready. I made my coffee in advance so I would have it to warm up. But I'm actually feeling like I'm warming up pretty well. You go from this very cold to sort of room temperature and it feels much warmer. So that makes sense. But I'm going to eat my breakfast. My personal computer is off, which it's usually on. I'm usually watching things while I work, but not today. We're going to avoid stacking the dopamine. So I'm going to eat my food. I'm going to do a bit of journaling, and then I'm going to get right into work, which I believe I have either a 9 o'clock or 9:30 meeting, so not too long until that happens. And then I'll see if I feel like I can motivate myself better, if I could focus better, whatever. We're going to see what happens after the cold shower and the sort of mini dopamine fast. Okay, day 2 of cold showers. I'm on a tight schedule today because I have a meeting at 8, so it's about 7:30 now. Just did my second cold shower, and I'm a little sweaty. The difference between cold to hot after the cold shower really like amps up your body temperature, it seems. So that's a little annoying and kind of gross. But ignoring that, it wasn't any easier to get in the cold shower the second day. I kind of thought it would be. I kind of thought, oh, I've done this before. The second time I'll just get in, get out, and it'll be fine. But that's not what happened. It was still hard, and I still didn't want to do it. And it was still cold, even though I did just like very slightly chicken out, and I just didn't turn the faucet coldest, even though I did yesterday and it was fine, it's safe. I just wanted something a little easier today, and that didn't even help because it was still incredibly cold. And I'm like kind of sweaty now, so I won't be bundling up in the blanket today unless the sweat starts to make me have a little bit of a chill. But we'll see. I woke up super grumpy. I'm still feeling kind of grumpy if I'm honest. But maybe the cold shower will improve my mood once it has a chance to, like, whatever, the chemicals work their way through my system. I don't know. But I have a meeting at 8, so I need to really get into work in a little bit here. And then I'll do the same thing as yesterday. I will turn my computer on so that I can access Obsidian and my notes. But I won't open anything else. I won't open Discord or Twitch or Instagram. And we'll see if I can have a productive work day today. I'm gonna need it because I have a deadline. I need to get some work done and like merged into the code base later today. So I do have a deadline to focus on, but hopefully it will be a little bit easier today with the cold shower. I just wanted to check in because I'm feeling okay. I feel like I've been able to focus on my work this morning, and obviously I have no way of confirming whether it was the cold shower, whether it's not having distractions, whether it's just the fact that I happened to get 7 hours of sleep last night because I went to bed exhausted and fell right to sleep. But I felt like it was important to point out that I was able to do my work. I didn't have a big problem with like malaise, just feeling kind of meh. I woke up really grumpy. I'm feeling better now. Not like cheerful, I wouldn't say, but I feel capable. I feel like I'm able to pay attention to the things that are going on. I'm able to think through the problems without getting distracted. And these are all things that I really struggled with. Like last week, for example, I struggled with getting the motivation, having the focus to think through like a whole problem without being interrupted by something. So I wanted to log that, record it, and it's also only 9:30, which I mentioned because typically I'm still sort of churning, I'm getting ready, I'm making plans, either something I'm doing or maybe the 8 o'clock meeting kind of just got me into gear much faster than usual. So that's how it's going. Obviously I have a lot more work to do today because it is only 9:30. We have to run and get groceries tonight, and then I've got my stream because it is Tuesday. So I don't know if I'll have much more to check in with, but I'll keep track of everything, and I'll probably see you again tomorrow. Check-in for day 3 of the cold showers. I'll just say yesterday I was hugely productive. Again, can't really be sure how any of this is connected, but I felt really good. I got so much done before even 10 a.m. And then even my sort of afternoon and evening felt pretty good. I don't know yet if I'll stick with the cold showers after the experiment is over. We'll have to see how I feel about that. Last night, I slept very poorly. I'm not sure what I did. Maybe it was the Baja Blast I had, like right before bed, but I woke up like every 2 hours on the dot from a nightmare. This usually doesn't happen to me. I do have nightmares somewhat frequently, but I don't usually have just like repeated nightmares in one night, just over and over again. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, Even with the frequent wake-ups, I still got about, 6 hours, 50 minutes, almost 7 hours. So I'm not as exhausted as I was the other day when I got like 5.5 hours of sleep. But I'm pretty tired. I do think that the cold shower helps to wake me up a little bit, but it only wakes me up for like a couple minutes, and then after that, after the cold shower, I get really warm, and that warm, sort of cozy feeling makes me pretty sleepy again. So, I don't know, something to watch out for. But I've got a full day of work ahead of me. My tasks for work are not as urgent as they were yesterday, where I had sort of a deadline to get things in before the end of the day. But I do, still have work to do, so I'll get into that. I think I'll do my morning pages real quick. It's about 10 in the morning, so I've done a little bit of work, I've had a meeting. I'll do my journaling, I'll get back into work, and then I'm still trying to work on this week's YouTube video to try and get it done a little bit early. I've been running kind of down to the wire lately. I would like to build up a little bit of a buffer for YouTube, so I'm not like down to Saturday, Sunday night trying to get these things filmed and edited. So I've been chipping away at a script for this week's video. Other than that, tonight's a stream night. Still playing Pal World. Still enjoying it. I need to collect all the pals. But other than that, it's just kind of gonna be a normal day. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, gotta be a quick update today because I have a lot of work to do. I did my cold shower this morning, and something interesting that's happened today and a little bit yesterday is that as you're in the cold water, it's very startling at first, and then it kind of starts to get normal. Like, it's probably related to like the relative temperature of your skin and the water. At first, that difference is very drastic. And then as you sort of cool down, the difference gets less drastic, and then it starts to almost feel like room temperature, which is interesting. And I don't know if that means that the cold exposure won't have the same effect, or if it still has the same effect because of the initial, like, shock of it, but I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I didn't get really, like, warm afterwards today like I did yesterday and the day before. But it's interesting, and so I wanted to point it out. I didn't get a ton of work done yesterday, so I felt like I had gotten a lot done on Tuesday specifically. Yesterday was just kind of a normal day for me. I had a lot of technical problems, which kind of got in the way of actually getting work done. So that wasn't really related to the cold water challenge, but it happened. It was hard to really judge whether I was like focusing better or that I was getting more motivated, because I ran into these obstacles that I couldn't get past. And then today I do have a high priority task that I need to get done as soon as possible. So I've got that sort of leaning over my shoulder and applying its own like motivational effect. People are sort of waiting on this work, so I need to get it done. So I have that in my brain. I have hopefully the dopamine in my system from the cold shower. And otherwise it's been a pretty normal day. Yesterday I did slip up. I don't know if I mentioned this. I slipped up a couple times. I opened Discord without even like realizing I was doing it. I opened, I think it was Amazon, without realizing I was doing it. I managed to catch myself and close the apps. So it was just like a brief interruption. But it's kind of like scary a little bit how deeply ingrained some of these apps are in my like brain, and how I just go to them like automatically. And I really don't like that. I would like to break that habit, because if I'm gonna waste a bunch of time, I want to do it on purpose. I want to do it because I decided to waste that time for fun, or because I'm looking for something, not because I didn't have a choice because it was happening subconsciously. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that, and I'm just gonna get to work today. Nothing crazy this afternoon, just my stream. So pretty normal day. Okay, here's my Friday check-in. I just did my cold shower. It was fine. I still have to really work myself up to get into the shower. and it's still very uncomfortable, which is the point, and I know that. But for some reason I keep thinking it will get easier as I go. It's not easier, but it's also not that bad. So, yesterday I did not have a very good day in terms of productivity. I was able to sort of attack the work I was doing, but I didn't really solve the problems that I was having, and I couldn't fix the bug I was tasked with fixing. So I felt kind of bad about that. Probably not related to the dopamine, if I had to guess, but it's something to mention. I don't feel like I was exceptionally productive like I was on Tuesday. So there's definitely some like ups and downs with how I perform regardless of the cold showers, I think. And then today I have to get blood drawn for blood tests in probably like 30 minutes. I can't see a clock right now, but I'm very nervous because I don't do the best with blood draws. I typically feel very bad afterwards just because of my brain, and so I'm a little nervous. Then I'll go do that, and then I'm back here for a full day of work. So I'm also fasting for the blood test, so I'm pretty hungry. I haven't eaten anything since last night, so I'm hoping I can get all this done with so I can have some nice breakfast and get into my work. And then Friday, start of the weekend, but also the start of when I actually have time to work on like side projects. So I'm still working on this week's YouTube video. It's taken me a long time to sort of nail down what I want to talk about in it, so I might try to do that today. And then also I'm still pretty addicted to Pal World. I'm not sure if I will try to do a little bonus stream. Those are all the things that are kind of on my plate today. Alright, it's Saturday morning. I've pretty much just woken up, did my skincare, ran the dog outside in the rain, and now I'm sitting at my desk. I still need to feed the cats, and I still need to get some breakfast, and I still need to do my cold shower. I kind of debated whether I wanted to do them on the weekends, because they're kind of meant to like encourage motivation. Weekends typically would be a time for rest, but I have a lot of work I need to do on the weekend. Specifically, I have a video to edit today, and then I also have a bit of housework to do, and I haven't really done any game work all week because I've been so busy with other things, so I would like to do that as well. So I think I'm going to stick with the cold showers, the no social media before lunch, but right now I'm going to run downstairs, give the cats their breakfast, prepare some coffee, which I like to do before my cold shower, so I have a nice hot coffee to have after I get out of the shower, and then we're going to begin our penultimate cold shower, the Saturday one, and I'll see if it helps me get into video editing better, because that's what my plan is to do once I sit down with my breakfast. So here we go. Okay, my video is rendering out. I'm gonna run the dog out, sit down for some lunch, and I just wanted to check in. I feel really good about the focus I had while editing. I feel good about the speed that I was able to get this done. This video in particular had a lot of footage for me to sort through, and so I'm very pleased that this didn't take me 3 or 4 hours to edit. It only took about like 1.5, so I'm ready to have lunch and get into a little bit more of a leisurely part of my Saturday. Okay, that was my last, whoops, camera's a little shaky. Okay, that was my last cold shower. It's Sunday morning, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do the cold shower today because I generally like Sundays to be kind of want them to be kind of my chill days. It doesn't usually work out that way, but I got my YouTube video squared away yesterday. I even did a little bit of game work last night, which I think is an indication that something is working, maybe it's the limited social media. But either way, like I got done playing some video games last night, and then I thought it would be really nice to do some game development. I feel like I want to do that, and that was not something that has happened in several weeks. It's really been like an effort just to get going on the game development. So the fact that I just kind of did it for fun on a Saturday night, it feels really good, and it's very encouraging that at least some of these lifestyle changes have to stick around. But I had my last cold shower. I think what I'm gonna do is not do cold showers this week, but keep up the no like social media, no like fun activities before lunch, and try to use that time to just get my mind straight, do some planning, work if I have work to do, and I'm gonna see how I feel after next week and sort of judge whether I think the cold showers were pulling a lot of that weight, or if it was just this like morning discipline that was freeing up some more dopamine, or whatever, headspace. In general, I'm feeling pretty good. After the cold showers, I swing back in the other direction and I get kind of sweaty, which I don't like. I don't like to be sweaty first thing in the morning, but that's how I'm feeling right now, so I'm kind of just... What's my sort of conclusion on the cold showers? First of all, they are not as miserable as I thought they would be, and I think it's because my shower doesn't really get that cold. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if we have some sort of water heater set that's making this happen, but I could not get the shower to actually feel like cold, and I was worried at the beginning. I was worried that I would make the shower too cold, but I cranked it all the way to the cold side, and it was like a little colder than room temperature. And it did feel cold relative to the air that I was standing in before. It did feel cold. It gave me that little like, that little reaction. But I did notice, especially in the later days this week, that the water kind of started to feel normal, even after just like a minute and a half. But I do suspect that my shower is not getting as cold as some people's showers do. Take that as a data point that my showers were probably not very cold. I could get a thermometer. And test the water temperature and see if I'm hitting... one of the studies I think said like 60 degrees was like cold enough, which to me is not very cold. Like, I've been in houses colder than that. I'm kind of rambling, but the short version is I think it might have helped. I definitely have had some positive changes in how I approach work and how I feel when I'm working, how I feel when I'm doing things that I don't necessarily want to do, but I need to do. And that is kind of the outcome that I was hoping for from this little experiment. So I feel like it was a success. I'm also like very much in this rabbit hole of the Huberman lab protocols. So I keep thinking of things that I should try next. And I try to tell myself, like, I've got a life to live. I don't have time necessarily to test out every single Huberman protocol, but the tickle is there, the inkling is there. So we'll see if I do anything else like this in the near future. But for now, I think that's all I've got. And we're back here at the end. This is about a week after the experiment has ended. And I wanted to come onto the video and just say, I've still been doing the cold showers. It's a surprise to you as much as it is to me, but I kind of like them, and I don't really know why. I think it must be that I've sort of subconsciously identified the cold showers as like a dopamine producing activity. And I know that there's a thing where if you believe that something is going to be good for you, it tends to release more dopamine when you do it, just because you know that should happen, if that makes sense. So there's a certain amount of like self-fulfilling prophecy here. But I do kind of really like that it's like a reset. And I've heard someone else describe it like this, but it's like a way to sort of like reboot your brain early in the morning and get it like fresh. There's also this feeling of like, this is the hardest thing I'll do today, and if I can do it, then I'm good to go. Like, there's kind of that feeling where you know that it's going to be a relief when you're done with it, And also, you know that it only takes a couple of minutes and that you've done it before, you can do it again. So it's kind of this like little reset with a confidence boost. And then afterward, I like the feeling. I don't like it when it makes me sweaty, but I like the feeling of like getting a little warm afterward. I just think it's really nice and kind of cozy. So I've been doing the cold showers most days since the experiment ended. What I haven't been doing, because I lack discipline, is refraining from social media until lunch. I do think that one is probably responsible for more of my actual like work productivity gains, because the dopamine I think gets you started on the work, but it's the discipline and the focus that completes the work, makes progress on the work. And so I think we have this twofold attack here, where the cold showers sort of gets me ready, and then not using the social media prevents me from getting off track. So I should probably try to enforce that, at least on like work days, when I'm on like a Saturday and I'm working on things for myself. Maybe it's not as important that I'm fully focused the entire time, but that's kind of the state of things. I've been doing the cold showers because I like them, and I don't know, maybe they're addictive. I know it seems really weird to me that I would like the cold showers, but I do. Maybe it's something you might try. Really, the most important thing, I think, is knowing that they don't recommend doing it for a very long time. You don't have to take your normal shower, but make it cold. You can just douse yourself in cold water for a minute and then get out. And then you've done it. And there's like this feeling of accomplishment. It's not huge, it's not like you just turned in a big project, but it's like a little warm feeling after the cold that sort of lifts you up for the rest of the morning. But that's all I've got for real. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you found it helpful, because I'll be back soon with another video, and I hope to see you there. Bye bye!